Jewelry of the Art Deco era often combined bold design with exquisite materials, resulting in works that were as modern as they were luxurious. The Cartier carved sapphire ring, created around 1925, perfectly reflects that harmony of style, innovation, and elegance. This remarkable piece came into the Guest family when her husband purchased it some years ago, becoming a cherished part of their collection.
It's, as far as I know, a carved sapphire, marked Cartier. I got it for a birthday one year, found it at a flea market in our area.
Okay.
My husband got it for me, just fell in love with it.
And what did you pay for it?
Some hundreds, not more than 1,000.
When was that?
10 or so years ago.
This is a carved sapphire.
Cartier, the renowned French luxury house founded in Paris in 1847 by Louis-François Cartier, has been long celebrated for its artistry and technical excellence. The carved sapphire ring is a prime example of the firm's creative boldness during the Art Deco period, demonstrating both skill and imagination. Its centerpiece is a delicate sail-on sapphire of light hue, meticulously carved into a floral motif, a design highly fashionable at the time.
I believe would be a Ceylon sapphire. It's a lighter color sapphire. It's not as saturated as, I'd say, a Burma sapphire would be. But Cartier didn't care if it was really that saturated. They just wanted the design.
Platinum shoulders frame the sapphire, each adorned with small diamonds that enhance the ring's brilliance and elegance. The enamel work on the band remains in excellent condition despite its age, highlighting the meticulous care and quality craftsmanship behind this piece. Its combination of design, precious materials, and superb preservation makes it a standout example of Cartier's Art Deco jewelry. At auction, this stunning Cartier carved sapphire ring is expected to command a price of...
I would say auction estimate would be between $5,000 and $7,000.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Great, thank you.
Photography can capture not only an image, but also the passage of time, memory, and place. That understanding inspired the guest who purchased these photographs when she had the opportunity. William Christenberry, a fleeting yet deeply evocative moment of rural life. When unframed, the photographs reveal additional details and markings hidden from present view, offering further insight into their history. Furniture in the mid-20th century often celebrated natural beauty as much as form, turning raw materials into philosophical statements. The elegant table before us, crafted around 1950, reflects that harmony between organic wood and purposeful design. This piece entered the Guest family through a friend who believed it carried the spirit of Georg Nakashima's work. Nakashima, a renowned American woodworker and architect, was celebrated for blending traditional Japanese craftsmanship with American modernism. His approach emphasized the natural beauty of wood, simplicity in form, and a deep respect for the material itself. At first glance, this table seems to follow those principles, but closer examination reveals discrepancies that set it apart. On the reverse side, two pieces of metal hold the wood together, something Nakashima himself would not have done, as he preferred natural joins that honored the tree.
Now, it is not the kind of construction that we would see Nakashima making. We would have expected him to make a beautiful, what's called Dutchman in cabinetry, and it would be a butterfly hinge. It would look like an hourglass or butterfly wings, and he would have held the two pieces of wood breaking apart together with that.
The legs are painted black, another detail that strays from his love of organic finishes.
I would have expected a Nakashima table to have a natural wood and much more of a canted leg. These legs are quite straight, so the table has a little bit of a stiff quality to it, where Nakashima is known for his grace and elegance and natural design.
For these reasons, this table cannot be attributed to Nakashima, but rather falls into the category of Nakashima-styled furniture, inspired by his vision, yet not his hand. At auction, this Nakashima-styled table will fetch a price of...
This table, I would say probably would bring about $1,000 at auction. We'd call it in the style of Georg Nakashima, school of Georg Nakashima, but not by him.
Pastimes of the early 20th century often reflected both ingenuity and a love of shared entertainment. The Schaefer's Combination Recreation Board, created around 1925, embodies that spirit by offering multiple games within one inventive design. This particular board has been passed down through several generations in the Guest family, carrying with it both history and nostalgia.
This has been passed down to me through my family. It's a pool table game board that belonged to my great-grandfather. He had it in his pool hall in Ringstead, Iowa.
So when do you think he was actually first in business in the pool hall?
I haven't been able to find out, but I think it's through the 1930s and 40s.
Manufactured by H.P. Schaefer in Peoria, Illinois, the board reflects the creativity of its maker during an era when games were not just for leisure, but often tied to community gatherings. It combines elements of 3 games, giving players the thrill of variety on a single playfield.
And you can play 3 different games. You can play a poker game, so you'd shoot 5 balls, and whoever got the highest hand won. And then you could play a Keno game where whoever got the highest number won the game, or you could play the baseball game, which is this beautiful green here.
Considering that this board was made close to Chicago during the Roaring Twenties, it is speculated that some examples may have been used in gambling halls or social clubs. That possibility adds a layer of intrigue to its story, reminding us how play and chance often mingled in those years. The board itself is made of plywood, a material that gave it both strength and affordability. Though it shows light staining and splintering across the edges, the playfield remains intact and surprisingly well preserved for its age. The craftsmanship speaks to the enduring appeal of well-made recreational pieces. Beyond its physical qualities, this board represents a fascinating chapter in American social life, when games brought families, friends, and sometimes gamblers together around a shared experience. At auction, this remarkable recreation board would command a reasonable price of
I think it should have an auction estimate of around $1,200 to $1,500.
Oh, very good.
You know, I'm just really excited to see it. It brings back my youth in the pool halls.
Imagine children gathered around a table, arranging tiny riders, cowboys, and figures into the unfolding drama of the open plains. The Hader Buffalo Bill Wild West set, made around 1895, captures that boundless sense of imagination shaped by popular myth and the fascination with the American frontier. This remarkable set was purchased by the guest many years ago, and its preservation makes it all the more special.
And I bought it at an auction locally here about 21 years ago. My wife was away for the weekend, and I happened to look in the auction section of the journal here. And it said Buffalo Bill Wild West set. I went to the auction. I'd never been to one before in my life. I ended up with this.
Your wife wasn't with you, so you could go wild.
If she'd have been with me, I wouldn't have gone.
And what did you pay for it?
I think I paid about $400 for it.
The Hader Company, founded in 1872 by Georg Hader in Dresden, Germany, was celebrated for producing finely crafted lead figures and toy soldiers. Among their most popular creations were elaborate sets such as this one. Inspired by the legendary shows of Buffalo Bill Cody that captivated audiences on both sides of the Atlantic, the Buffalo Bill Wild West set features cowboys, Native Americans, horses, buffalo, and other Western-themed figures, each one intricately detailed to spark the imagination of children in its time. What makes this particular set extraordinary is the fact that it has never been played with, leaving the paint bright, the forms sharp, and the entire collection in unusually fine condition.
Well, after I had bought this particular piece, a woman came over to me and she said that everything at the auction was her grandfather's estate. And right around the turn of the century, her grandfather was the European sales manager for the Singer Sewing Machine Company. He had just gotten married, and he thought that at some time he would have some sons, and this would be a nice present, except that he and his wife had 3 daughters, and the 3 daughters only had daughters. And she had told me that this box had been lugged from house to house to house and had never been played with.
Such completeness and preservation are rare for toys of this age, most of which show heavy wear from years of play. This untouched state gives the set a striking presence, standing not only as a toy, but also as a cultural artifact of 19th century storytelling and entertainment. At auction, this amazing Wild West set would command a significant price of
At auction could bring in the neighborhood of $15,000 to $20,000.
Well, when my father-in-law came in for a visit and looked at it, he looked at it and said, "What'd you pay for it?" When I told him, he made one of those faces. Now maybe I didn't know what I was doing 21 years ago.
Illustration in the early 20th century often bridged the worlds of fine art and popular culture, bringing scenes of everyday life into vivid focus. This particular set of illustrations came into the possession of the president after being passed along to the organization he belonged to.
I'm the president of the local historical society, and they belong to the historical society For as long as anyone can remember, they hung in a country schoolhouse. The school finally closed in 1975. I believe they hung in the courthouse for a while. And then when the Historical Society was formed in the mid-'80s, they just moved across the street to the Historical Society.
They were created by Joseph Francis Kernan, an artist celebrated for his nostalgic and humorous depictions of everyday life, often focusing on outdoor sports, hunting, fishing, and dogs. Kernan is best known for his work during the golden age of magazine illustration, producing covers for major publications such as the Saturday Evening Post, Collier's, Liberty, and Outdoor Life. This particular pair of illustrations appeared in the Country Gentleman magazine around 1924, having been painted the previous year in 1923. Kernan's own love of sports and the outdoors clearly influenced these works, infusing them with authenticity and charm.
The artist is interesting in that he paid for his way through art school in Boston by being a professional baseball player. And he was always a sportsman. And you can see that especially in the happily unsuccessful hunting scene, and also in just the very sportsman-like scenes that he does in general.
The first illustration is titled RFD Delivery, while the second is called Rabbits, each capturing a slice of rural life with warmth and humor. Both pieces have survived in fantastic condition, enhancing their value for collectors and historians alike. Interestingly, these illustrations have been appraised in the past, reflecting their recognized importance and rarity.
Well, about 20 years ago, someone sent us an appraisal, said they sold them similar ones for a couple $1,000s, but that was 20 years ago, so I have no idea what they're worth now.
That was 20 years ago, and I think a little under the mark.
At auction, these remarkable illustrations would each command a price of
At $20,000.
Ooh.
Yes.
That's more than we thought.
Advertising in the early 20th century was more than selling a product. It shaped culture and created lasting icons. This particular piece of Coca-Cola original advertising art once belonged to the mother-in-law of the guest.
It is something that my mother-in-law had in her house for close to 70 years. She and my father-in-law were in Chicago in the late 40s. He was a commercial artist. The story that she told was that he shared a building space with Hayden Sundblom, and that when they were clearing things out, that they did not want this anymore. And I don't know if he asked for it, he was given it. Really, details are a little sketchy, but he ended up with this.
Carrying with it both family history and artistic significance. Created around 1942, it reflects the blend of artistry and influence that turned a simple beverage into a symbol recognized worldwide. Coca-Cola has a long tradition of collaborating with talented artists to produce visually striking and memorable advertisements, and this piece is a priming example of that creative approach. The artwork showcases the importance of illustration in mid-20th century marketing, when images were as crucial as words in capturing consumer attention. Its design and execution demonstrate both technical skill and marketing genius, turning a commercial piece into a collectible work of art. Coca-Cola memorabilia is highly sought after, and original advertising artwork like this is particularly valuable due to its rarity and historical significance. While this piece shows some condition issues, its originality ensures it remains a highly desirable item. Collectors and enthusiasts alike appreciate such works for their cultural resonance and aesthetic appeal. At auction, this remarkable advertising art is expected to fetch a price of
I would have no troubles valuing this at $4,000 to $6,000.
Cool, very cool.
You should get it framed,
Okay.
because it will protect the paint from cracking any further, and hang it on a wall. This is history.
Industrial history can often be traced through the meticulous records left by its makers, revealing both innovation and scale. The Baldwin Locomotive Works Builder's Cards book preserves that legacy, offering unique insight into the production and design of some of America's most iconic locomotives. This remarkable book was inherited by the guest from his wife's grandfather, carrying both historical and familial significance.
This is a railroad sales book for Wallace R. Lee, who worked for the Baldwin Locomotive Company. And he traveled the world for Baldwin for years and years, selling steam engines. He was my first wife's grandfather, so he's my son's great-grandfather. And I knew him. He lived to be 100, but when he died, this came to me.
Founded by Matthias W. Baldwin in 1831 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Baldwin Locomotive Works became a leading American manufacturer of railway locomotives. Baldwin initially built small stationary engines before transitioning into the production of steam locomotives, a move that would leave a lasting mark on transportation history. This book is filled with detailed entries and technical specifications, meticulously documenting the construction of each engine with precision and care. In addition to technical data, it contains information on the sale of some of the engines used during that era, offering insight into the business side of locomotive production.
And he's got a note here for how many engines he sold. He sold 4 different engines of this single one. And here's some other examples. The earliest date I saw was about 1905 to 1911. Tons of information, including at least on one example, how much people paid, which is noticeably absent from some of the others. But even on this one example here, he's done a little math where it says he sold 3 for $83,300, and he's worked it out to it's about $27,000 per engine, which is good. This is our question. Yeah. How much did these things cost?
Right.
Well, they cost a tremendous amount of money in 1906 dollars.
Numerous photographs of trains from that time are included, preserving the appearance of machines that have otherwise been lost to history. As such, the book serves as an invaluable resource for both lovers of photography and enthusiasts of railroad history.
A lot of meat here, obviously, for vintage photography collectors, right? Because there are probably 80 examples of vintage photography of trains. And then, of course, if you are interested in railroad history, there's even more meat here for you.
Its excellent condition further enhances its appeal, making it not only an informative record, but also a fascinating historical artifact. At auction, this exceptional builder's cards book is expected to command a price of.
At auction, we'd list it for $800 to $1,200, but where it lands is anybody's guess.
Sure. Great. It would be difficult to have salesman samples of engines. Yes.
Archives of a silversmith reveal not only finished works, but also the creative process behind them, showcasing skill, experimentation, and artistic intent. This particular archive belongs to Elsebeth Haugard, the mother of the guest, who trained as a silversmith under the guidance of the renowned master Georg Jensen.
My mother was an apprentice at age 16 for Georg Jensen, the silversmith from Denmark.
And that was for 5 years?
For 5 years, yes. This is the apprentice piece that she made in order to become a silversmith.
And this right here is?
That's a certificate of completion of the 5 years of apprenticeship. And this piece, she received the bronze medal, and she was the first female silversmith certified in Denmark.
Jensen, best known for founding the iconic Danish design house Georg Jensen A.S., revolutionized the world of silverware and jewelry with his elegant, timeless designs. Within the archive is a book on the Georg Jensen firm, featuring a photograph of the workforce at that time, providing historical context to Elsebeth's training and work. Among the pieces included the centerpiece is a coveted vegetable bowl, marked and decorated in a style that reflects both the period and the trends of the Jensen workshop. Interestingly, the archive also contains sketch drawings of the bowl made before its creation, offering a rare glimpse into the design process itself. The markings and designs on this piece serve as a tangible connection to the era in which they were made, as well as the master-apprentice relationship that shaped them. Other items in the archive include various pieces of jewelry crafted by Elsebeth, showing the evolution of her skills and style over the course of her career.
Well, the center necklace, that one there, that one was made in 1932. And that one has her initials and the date. That was before she finished her apprenticeship.
The initials on this are EH, which of course match
go with
her name.
Elsebeth Haugard.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the bracelet and necklace.
Those I believe she made afterwards when she was married, because the initials are ES, and that's for Elsebeth Strandnes.
A letter from Georg Jensen is also preserved, formally acknowledging Elsebeth as his apprentice and praising her craftsmanship.
That's a letter that Georg Jensen wrote, certifying that she had finished her apprenticeship and recommending her and praising her for her hard work and certifying that she would be a good person to hire if anybody was going to hire her.
At auction, the centerpiece vegetable cover alone will command a remarkable price of.
And you'll see prices anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000.
While as a group, the entire archive will fetch a price of
It's somewhere in the $30,000 to $35,000 range. Your entire collection would be able to be.
Two cherished paintings, set to be passed down to the next generation, have been in the family for many years. Displayed on an easel, the first painting is by Harry van der Weyden, an English-born artist who later moved to Boston. The second painting is called Schmerz vergessen, meaning to forget the pain, by Ignes Marcel Gorkengigel. This artwork depicts a romantic genre scene of an artist playing his cello in streaming light. Gorkengigel, known for his tight, meticulous style, was born in Bavaria and later painted Harvard professors. Van der Weyden's piece is representative of the classic Barbizon style. Both paintings are in very good condition, with the Gorkengigel painted on wood and the Van der Weyden on canvas.
And in the late 19th century, Boston was really a center of innovations in the United States. And these pieces are really sort of the classic example of what Bostonians were collecting.
Both paintings exemplify the golden age of Boston collecting and high style from the late 19th century, worth about.
The Gorkengigel I would estimate between $5,000 and $7,000. Harry van der Weyden between $3,000 and $5,000.
French Art Nouveau perfume bottle, manufactured by Le Ville-Rousseau between 1883 and 1900, was brought in. It was acquired by the guest from a flea market in Virginia about 10 years ago. This exquisite piece features multicolored art glass, a burnished red hue, and rare silver mounts. Its design features a distinctive flame finial and intricate floral and leaf patterns. These elements are complemented by an elegant X border on foot, adding to its artistic appeal and craftsmanship. Notably, the glass has interior crazing, adding to its charm rather than detracting from its value.
It's French Art Nouveau, and it's WWII is the manufacturer of it, about 1883 to circa 1900.
In perfect condition, the bottle stands out among perfume collectors worldwide, transforming it from a humble flea market find to a prized possession. Its value at auction is estimated to be between.
Well, it's a wonderful bottle. The value would be for auction $6,000 to $8,000. Oh my word.
Family heirloom, a penny bank from around 1900, has been treasured for approximately 80 years. Penny banks, popular toys in the late 19th century and coveted collectibles in the 20th century.
Penny banks were a very popular toy in the late 19th century and also became very popular among collectors in the 20th century.
Are admired for their sculptural and dimensional qualities, especially those made of cast iron. This particular bank was manufactured by J&E Stevens in Cromwell, Connecticut, around the 1890s. This bank features a slot for a cap, creating a small explosion after shooting the penny for extra excitement. The bank has remained in excellent condition, retaining its original paint and most notably, its original feathers. These feathers are a fragile component that is almost always replaced due to their delicacy. In its current condition, with the original feathers and high-quality paint, it is valued at.
This bank, in this condition, with the original feathers and the quality of the paint, would be worth at least $4,000 to $5,000.
Oh, wow.
An antique shop, captivating her with its charm. Piano was purportedly originated in the 1700s, Germany, crafted for a Dutch girl. The piece was from the 19th century, around 1850 to 1860. Its tapered legs and grain painting, typical of the era, indicated it was from the Empire style. This grain painting imitated the expensive rosewood, making it more affordable. Small but mighty, this miniature square piano wasn't a toy, but a well-constructed instrument. Despite missing parts and aged keys, it was remarkably well preserved.
And I think not a toy, but in fact, a student instrument for probably a very well-to-do young child.
The square piano's auction estimates soared too.
If I had this in an auction today, I would estimate it in probably the $1,500 to $1,700 range, and I would be hoping for that collector who's dying for this period square piano in this form.
Sequoia school pottery pieces are unique artifacts with significant cultural values. Crafted around 1940, these pieces represent a special collection of handmade items. They were crafted by Cherokee children at the Sequoia Orphans Training Center in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. Interestingly, these pieces were part of a program to teach pottery skills. The first piece depicts a kneeling figure, and it's signed Clocker.
Sequoia and number 41. Now the forms are somewhat interesting. This is very utilitarian.
Also, the second piece is signed and has a price tag of $2.
To it,
I like
a lot of
that
the trade
one.
coming out. I think this is a fabulous piece, personally.
That's my favorite.
And this seated figure, just fascinating when you see the figure elements.
Additionally, the third piece is signed Ada, with a date of 1939. The distinct historical and cultural significance of these pieces contributes to their growing market demand. Today, they are highly valued by collectors, and at auction, the third piece would sell for.
The seated figure on the far side, we think realistically would be between a $600 and $800 piece.
Items and photos have a fascinating story behind them.
I was able to look him up a little bit through papers you had brought that are in the scrapbook, as well as a history online. His name was Major Harry V. Anderson.
They originally belonged to the guest's husband's grandfather, Major Harry V. Anderson. Harry V. Anderson. Anderson served in the 101st Airborne Division during World War II, enlisted in 1994, and was present at the Battle of Bastogne, where his platoon suffered significant losses during a bombing. After the battle, Anderson's unit was tasked with exploring Berchtesgaden, Hitler's lair, uncovering Hermann Göring's looted art collection. Hermann Göring. The collection included masterpieces by Rembrandt, Van Dyck, and a forged Vermeer. Rembrandt, Van Dyck, and Vermeer. Among the artwork saved was a German carving of Mary Magdalene, now housed in the Louvre. The Louvre. These items were brought in by the guest in a scrapbook with around 60 additional pieces.
In the collection are some of the world's greatest masterpieces. It's astounding and mind-boggling what he had spirited away to these caverns. Over here, for instance, we have a portrait by Rembrandt.
And they highlighted the efforts of the monuments men who safeguarded art during the war. The value of the scrapbook and the magnificent art pieces at auction would be.
I've put a value on the grouping that we see here before us at auction of $2,000 to $3,000.
A set of mallet furniture produced by Knoll International between 1966 and 1968. They were designed by Chilean artist Roberto Matta, known for his million-dollar paintings. Roberto Matta. This line exemplifies Matta's foray into furniture design.
As some of the stains and the wear and tear show, it has been very well used. It was in a family of 4 kids and 6 cousins.
The mallet line, made of polyurethane foam with a con covering, embodies the 1960s experimental spirit with new materials like foam and plastic. Interchangeable and interlocking pieces allowed the furniture to function as both seating and sculpture.
With this cotton covering in 1966, when you had people like Alexander Calder.
Examples of this furniture are housed at the Philadelphia Museum of Art and the Museum of Modern Art in New York. Philadelphia Museum of Art. Museum of Modern Art, New York. Despite some rips and stains, the set retains its historical and design significance. In perfect condition, such a set with its provenance and uniqueness would fetch.
Sets like this retail in perfect condition for about $3,000 or $3,200.
This painting of an American bison serves as a cultural icon of Oklahoma and is referred to as the monarch of the plains.
Yeah, did you pay a lot of money for it?
I paid about $3,500 for it.
About how long ago?
Within the last 10 years.
Discovered in a gallery in upstate New York, the guest purchased it some years back. The painting is by Frank Tenny Johnson, known for his night paintings and cowboy scenes. Frank Tenny Johnson. Johnson was born in Iowa, trained in New York, and moved to Colorado around the turn of the century, later relocating to California in 1920. A commercial artist, he was associated with prominent figures like Charles Russell and Norman Rockwell. Charles Russell, Norman Rockwell. The painting's depiction of an American bison, Oklahoma's state animal, adds to its appeal and value. Map of Oklahoma. The current market for American paintings, especially those of the West, is very high. The collectors appreciate iconic subjects like this, despite being a bit small for Johnson's typical works and featuring a southbound view of a northbound bison. The painting is valued at.
I would say a value these days is probably in the neighborhood of $15,000 to $20,000.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
On exhibit today are remarkable written works chronicling the historic feat of humanity's first moon landing. Our guest received this remarkable book titled First on the Moon as a gift from his father. The autographs of Buzz Aldrin, Mike Collins, and the renowned Neil Armstrong adorn this book, adding to its historical significance. These men achieved a remarkable feat in 1969, becoming the first to set foot on the moon.
The three inscriptions, as you mentioned, you've got Neil Armstrong, the most well-known, and then Buzz Aldrin right there.
Neil Armstrong declined our guest's father's offer to collaborate on his biography in this letter.
And this here is a letter from Neil Armstrong to your dad.
Right. My dad was really interested in...
This book, which tells the story of the first voyage to the moon, was published in 1970. With its excellent state of preservation, this treasure is a highly valuable item, expected to have an auction value of.
We would auction estimate the book itself at $4,000 to $6,000.
Wow.
While the letter from Neil Armstrong would have an auction estimate of.
The letter here from Neil, we would estimate that at $1,000 to $1,500.
Wow.
Bronze impacts a feeling of wealth and nobility when used in art and architecture, but the subject matter of this particular bronze sculpture is controversial.
Do you recall how much it was valued for at the time?
I believe between 20 and 25.
Okay. So what we have here is a sculpture by Frederick William MacMonnies.
This bronze sculpture, titled Bacchant and Faun, was crafted by Frederick William MacMonnies, who was best known as an expatriate American sculptor of the Beaux Art School. He was also a highly accomplished painter and portraitist. This sculpture is a 15.5-inch model that was initially exhibited in 1894 at the Paris Salon. Due to its controversy, the full-sized original was moved from the Boston Public Library to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. MacMonnies later recast smaller editions, making this model highly sought after.
Really?
So the gift was withdrawn and it was donated to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, where it sits today.
Also, this sculpture is signed F. MacMonnies and dated 1896 with a Paris foundry mark. Well preserved and in excellent condition, this bronze sculpture, with its rich history, would auction for.
When they come up for auction, the auction estimates are $3,000 to $5,000.
Purchased by the guest while stationed in Thailand during military service, this Rolex watch holds a unique story. Thailand. The guest was influenced by pilots on Air America Airlines and Continental Airlines who wore Rolex watches and felt compelled to acquire one. Kept unworn in a safety deposit box for 30 to 40 years, the Rolex Oyster Cosmograph reference 6263 remains in pristine condition.
If I have it correct. As you know, it's a Rolex. This particular model is referred to as an Oyster Cosmograph.
Highly sought after for its immaculate state and unique features, this model attracts serious collectors. Along with its original receipts, warranty paper, brochure, and both inner and outer boxes, this watch's value is significantly enhanced. Featuring screw-down buttons and a Mark II dial, the reference 6263 was produced for a limited time, adding to its rarity. An unfilled warranty paper and the foil sticker on the back with the reference number make this watch exceptionally collectible. Highly prized for its historical significance and craftsmanship, such watches are coveted by collectors.
First thing would wear off the watch. The date mark on the bracelet shows that it was made in the first quarter of 1971.
The estimated auction value for this pristine, fully documented watch is usually set at
$500,000 to $700,000.
The guest purchased these beautiful bracelets at a garage sale 20 years ago.
Bracelet just didn't fit into my scheme of things, so it was just kind of thrown in the bottom of one of my drawers and forgotten about.
The bracelet was made circa 1940 and bears the mark of its maker, Raymond C. Yard. Yard was one of the finest American jewelers of his time.
He was known for taking a lot of pieces like these English crystals and doing custom work for clients.
The bracelet features English crystals, which are made from quartz crystal and carved from the back. We can see the figures of birds on the bracelet, which were reverse painted onto the piece. Although the crystal was originally clear, it was backed with mother of pearl to give its current vibrant color. The bezels around the piece can also be opened up to facilitate cleaning. Despite minor wear visible on the piece, being a fine work by yard, we can still expect it to command a value of
$6,000 to $8,000.
Oh my gosh, oh my goodness. I guess I better start wearing this thing.
Let's see the Chinese bamboo brush holder from the guest's great-aunt Louis, who was a doctor in China in the 1930s. A letter describes it as a bitong, a classical Chinese brush pot, likely from the Qianlong period in the 18th century. There's skepticism about its age, mentioned by an antique dealer in 1937, though it's correctly identified as an 18th century piece. In 1937, such items were accessible due to China's turmoil, reflecting a simpler time in the antique industry. It features intricate carvings of scholars and attendants in bamboo groves, a typical motif of the period. Carved texture and patina are remarkable, despite the recent dusting, preserving its historical charm. These details and bracket feet are characteristic of 18th century brush pots. Provenance, like the detailed letter, is crucial in valuing Asian art, which enhance its credibility and potential value by 10 to 15%. Its estimated auction value is
$20,000 to $30,000. That's amazing. I told my wife I wouldn't fall out of the chair.
This charming secretary bookcase was handcrafted in 1771 for a couple married in Lisbon, Connecticut. The original owners, Ephraim and Mary Perkins, likely used it to store valuables and organize important documents. Made of Connecticut cherrywood, this piece is a true testament to local craftsmanship. Distinctive fan design at the bottom of the bookcase is a hallmark of Connecticut furniture. The curved shape of the shelves echoes the design of the pilasters, a beautiful detail. Even the brass handles were likely made in Connecticut, not imported from England. This charming Connecticut chair, with its elegant fluting, complements the secretary bookcase perfectly. The chair itself is estimated to be worth
$5,000, maybe $6,000.
But the real star of the show is the secretary bookcase, valued at an impressive
At about $70,000
Really?
to $90,000.
Isn't that wonderful?
A renowned former football player named Alan Page brought a banner to the show. Found through an antique dealer's ad, his wife gave him the banner as a Christmas gift. This item was identified as a parade banner, used after President Lincoln's assassination. The banner bore the inscription, "Uncle Abe, we will not forget you," reflecting the nationwide mourning.
Smallest town to the biggest city, there were demonstrations, parades of mourning.
There was a parade torch at the top that was used in nighttime marches. The appraiser admired the banner's shaft patina and color, noting its remarkable condition. The back of the banner also carried significant sentiment. The appraiser mentioned that mourning items for Lincoln are somewhat less valuable than campaign items. Nonetheless, the banner's special attributes elevated its auction value to be
Somewhere between $15,000 and $25,000.
Oh my goodness.
Before us sits a captivating bronze sculpture, a true masterpiece of refinement and elegance.
It's a Japanese bronze cast piece. It's from the Meiji period, and it dates to about 1890 or so.
Our guest received this keepsake as a gift from her mother, who was an antique dealer. This work embodies the unique aesthetic and skill of the Tokyo School of Fine Arts. The school is renowned for its rigorous training in Japanese art forms, such as painting, sculpture, ceramics, and printmaking. Two individual elements were cast independently, then brought together to form this stunning piece. This exquisite sculpture portrays the unconditional love between a mother and her child.
This is very sort of sweet and, sort of a nice quiet moment.
A more detailed inspection of this piece reveals flaws and evidence of repair, notably a crack on the arm and visible signs of restoration on the bench. Given its excellent state of preservation, this remarkable piece is expected to have an auction value of
$25,000.
Oh. Well, that's very nice to know.
Exactly.